What if 2 minutes a day could activate your body's fat-burning switch? Japanese researchers discovered how, and here's what happens. More than 40% of American adults live with obesity, and many carry excess abdominal fat, especially visceral fat, which surrounds internal organs and is associated with higher risks of type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and metabolic syndrome. We try endless diets, countless crunches, extreme workouts, but that stubborn belly fat often remains. Here's what most people miss. Belly fat is not just about calories in versus calories out. Hormones, sleep quality, stress levels, genetics, and overall activity patterns all influence how and where the body stores fat. Exercise, including core training and aerobic activity, can improve oxygen utilization, reduce stress hormone levels over time, and strengthen deep core muscles, but no single method can specifically target or eliminate visceral fat on its own. The technique is called long breath diet, popularized by Japanese actor Miki Ryosuke when he was seeking relief for back pain. His doctor recommended specific breathing exercises to help improve posture and engage his core muscles. Within weeks, Ryosuke reported something unexpected. He said he lost 28.7 pounds and 4.7 inches from his waist in 7 weeks without changing his diet. These results are from a personal account, not controlled clinical research, and changes of that size usually involve multiple factors, including diet, overall activity, and fluid balance. This was not magic, it was physiology, but not in the way it is often presented. The method combines deep diaphragmatic breathing with isometric muscle contraction, which can improve core muscle engagement, posture, and breathing efficiency. However, breathing exercises alone do not directly activate unique fat-burning pathways or specifically reduce visceral fat. Let's understand the first mechanism, oxygen and fat burning. Here's a fact most people don't know. Fat does not just disappear. When your body uses stored fat for energy, most of the mass is ultimately released as carbon dioxide that you breathe out, and the rest becomes water that leaves through urine, sweat, and other body fluids. The process of breaking down fat molecules is called oxidation, and it requires oxygen. Fat molecules are converted mainly into carbon dioxide and water, along with energy that your cells use. Research published in the British Medical Journal explained that during fat loss, most of the lost mass leaves the body through the lungs as carbon dioxide, while a smaller portion becomes water. The key point is that fat loss depends on your body needing energy and drawing from stored fat, not simply on how deeply you breathe. Deep, controlled breathing, like the type used in the long breath technique, can encourage fuller use of the diaphragm instead of shallow chest breathing. This may improve breathing patterns and relaxation, but in healthy people at rest, oxygen levels in the blood are already near optimal. Breathing deeper alone does not significantly increase fat burning. When you combine controlled breathing with muscle tension, your muscles use more energy than at complete rest. However, the overall energy demand of breathing exercises with light isometric contraction is still modest compared with activities like brisk walking, cycling, or resistance training. These techniques can support posture, core engagement, and body awareness, but they are not a metabolic shortcut that dramatically accelerates fat loss on their own. Now for the second mechanism, deep core muscle activation. The long breath technique is not passive breathing. It requires you to engage your entire core, including muscles that are often underused in daily life. The transverse abdominis, the deep core muscle that wraps around your midsection like a corset, your internal obliques, your pelvic floor, and stabilizing muscles along your spine, such as the multifidus. When you engage these muscles during the breathing exercise, several things happen. First, you are performing isometric contraction, holding muscles under tension without visible movement. Isometric exercises do use energy and can help build muscular endurance and strength, but the calorie burn is generally modest. Increases in resting metabolic rate after this type of activity are usually small. Second, activating deep core muscles can improve posture and spinal stability. Better posture can support more efficient breathing mechanics and reduce strain on the back during daily activities. However, this does not automatically translate into a major increase in oxygen consumption or fat burning. Third, strengthening these deep muscles improves abdominal wall support and trunk stability. Stronger core muscles can make the abdomen feel firmer and may slightly influence waist measurements through improved muscle tone and posture. Core exercises alone do not directly reduce visceral fat. Changes in visceral fat are driven mainly by overall energy balance, physical activity, sleep, and metabolic health. Studies on core training show that targeted exercises can increase muscle thickness and endurance over time. Reductions in waist circumference sometimes occur, but this is usually due to a combination of fat loss, muscle tone, and posture changes rather than muscle strengthening alone. And here's the third mechanism, one that's often overlooked: stress hormone management. Chronic stress can keep cortisol levels elevated, and long-term elevations in cortisol are associated with greater abdominal fat accumulation, including visceral fat. Cortisol influences how the body uses and stores energy, and during ongoing stress, it can contribute to increased appetite and fat storage, often around the midsection. Here's where the long breath technique may help. Deep rhythmic breathing can activate the parasympathetic nervous system, your body's rest and digest mode. This helps counter the sympathetic fight or flight response that is active during stress. Research in psychology and physiology shows that slow, controlled breathing practices can reduce perceived stress and may lower cortisol levels over time in some people. The size of this effect varies, and breathing exercises alone are not a guaranteed or standalone treatment for high cortisol or abdominal fat. When stress is better managed, people may sleep better, make more balanced food choices, and maintain healthier activity levels, all of which influence fat storage. Additionally, controlled breathing can reduce feelings of tension and may lower markers of sympathetic nervous system activity. Its effects on hormones like DHEA are less consistent and not as well established as its role in relaxation and stress reduction. The breathing pattern acts more like a supportive tool for calming the stress response rather than a direct hormonal switch. Many people do fall into shallow breathing patterns during stress, prolonged sitting, or anxiety, which can reinforce feelings of tension. Practicing slow, diaphragmatic breathing can help retrain breathing patterns and improve relaxation. This supports overall health and stress regulation, which can indirectly influence body weight and fat distribution. But it is one part of a much bigger picture. Here's how to perform the long breath technique safely and effectively. Start by standing with one foot slightly forward and the other foot back, keeping most of your weight on the back foot. This stance helps with balance and stability. Inhale slowly through your nose for about 3 seconds, raising your arms above your head. Allow your rib cage and abdomen to expand naturally as you fill your lungs. Avoid forcing your stomach out. Focus on smooth diaphragmatic expansion. Exhale steadily through your mouth for about 7 seconds. As you breathe out, gently contract your core and glute muscles, keeping your neck and face relaxed. The goal is coordinated engagement of your muscles, not straining or holding your breath. That completes one cycle. Beginners can start with a few cycles per session, gradually working up to several minutes daily. Consistency is more important than intensity. You can also split the practice into shorter sessions throughout the day if that is more comfortable. Important safety notes. Stop immediately if you feel dizzy, lightheaded, or experience chest pain. People with heart, lung, blood pressure, or back conditions should consult a healthcare professional before starting new breathing or exercise routines. Focus on slow, controlled, diaphragmatic breathing, gentle core engagement, and a relaxed posture. With daily practice, even just 2 to 10 minutes, this technique can support better posture, body awareness, and stress management, which are all helpful for overall health and well-being. So remember, this Japanese breathing technique is based on real physiological principles, but it is not a standalone fat loss solution. Through controlled breathing, gentle core engagement, and stress management, you are supporting several body systems that influence overall health and body composition. No extreme diets, no hours at the gym, just a few minutes of focused breathing practice daily. This does not replace healthy eating or regular physical activity, but it can be a helpful addition to a broader plan that includes exercise, adequate sleep, and balanced nutrition. It may also improve posture, body awareness, and relaxation, which indirectly support long-term weight management and metabolic health. The modern world has trained many people to breathe shallowly and remain in a constant stress state. This technique encourages slower, more diaphragmatic breathing and moments of intentional relaxation. Your breath is a tool to support calmness and better movement patterns, alongside other habits that truly drive fat loss and overall health. If this video helped you understand the science behind this Japanese technique, hit that like button and subscribe for more health science explained clearly. Your body and your breath will thank you. Start today.